There's a quiet strength that we rarely talk about: the power of silence. In a world that thrives on noise, on action, on constant movement, the idea of silence seems almost rebellious. But here's the truth: silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of stillness. It's where we cultivate the patience to allow life to unfold without forcing it, where we learn to let things come to us naturally. We've been taught that if we want something, we have to go after it with everything we have, hustle harder, push more, speak up louder. And while there is value in determination and ambition, there is also immense power in pausing and stepping back and in simply allowing. Sometimes the greatest growth happens not when we're striving, but when we're quiet, when we make space for things to come to us in their own time, on their own terms. When we practice silence, we're not giving up on our goals or dreams. We're trusting the process. We're trusting that the work we've done, the seeds we've planted, will come to fruition when they're ready. Silence is about acknowledging that while we can control our actions, we can't control the outcomes. And that's okay. So many of us are afraid of silence because in it, we're left with ourselves, our thoughts, our fears, our doubts. But what if we reframed that? What if we saw silence not as a void, but as an opportunity? An opportunity to listen to our inner voice, to connect with our intuition, to find clarity that we can't see when we're wrapped up in the noise. In the stillness, we find resilience. We discover that we don't have to chase everything, that sometimes things come to us when we're ready. It's in the silence that we find the courage to let go of what we can't control and the grace to receive what is meant for us. Let everything come to you naturally. Trust that what is meant for you will find its way into your life. And while you wait, while you're in the space of stillness, know that you are growing, evolving, and becoming the person you need to be for when those things arrive. One of the hardest lessons we can learn in life is the practice of patience, especially when things don't seem to be unfolding the way we expect or desire. We often feel an urgency to achieve certain milestones, to make things happen on our own timeline, and to see the fruits of our labor immediately. But the truth is, life doesn't always operate according to our schedule. Instead, there is a rhythm, a divine order, or natural flow that we must learn to trust. Trusting the timing of your life is not about being passive or complacent. It doesn't mean you sit back and let life happen without any effort on your part. On the contrary, it's about understanding that there is a season for everything, times to plant and times to harvest. The key is to recognize that not everything we want or work toward will manifest immediately. But that doesn't mean it won't happen at all. The delay doesn't signify denial, rather, it's part of the process, part of the journey toward something better than we may have imagined. When you trust the timing of your life, you begin to embrace a deeper sense of peace. You no longer feel the need to compare your progress to others, because you recognize that their journey is not your journey. Everyone is walking their own path, learning their own lessons, and arriving at their destinations in their own time. By letting go of the need to control every step of the way, you open yourself up to the unexpected opportunities and blessings that could never have been planned or predicted. Consider this: have you ever looked back on something in your past, an opportunity, a relationship or a situation, and realized that although at the time it seemed delayed or out of reach, it came to fruition at the perfect moment? Perhaps you weren't ready for it then, or there were unseen factors that needed to align before it could manifest. This hindsight often reveals that what felt like a detour or setback was actually a setup for something far greater. Trusting the timing of your life invites this kind of perspective, even in the present moment, allowing you to relax into the flow of life instead of fighting against it. It's important to understand that trust requires surrender. It's not easy to let go of the desire to control every outcome, but doing so can bring tremendous freedom. When we trust that what is meant for us will not pass us by, we stop clinging to timelines and start enjoying the journey more fully. We stop viewing delays as failures and start seeing them as opportunities for growth, reflection, and preparation. Each pause, each moment of waiting can become a time of refining and strengthening, making us more equipped for what's ahead. In trusting the timing of your life, you also embrace the idea that sometimes things are happening behind the scenes, even when it doesn't feel like it. The universe or life itself is constantly working in ways we cannot see. Sometimes what we interpret as stagnation is actually the preparation for a breakthrough. It's in these moments of waiting, of quiet, that important things are being aligned: circumstances, people, or even our own development. We may not always see it in the moment, but later we realize that the timing was perfect, even though we couldn't understand it at the time. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to trust that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. When you surrender the need to rush or force things into existence, you make space for life to surprise you. You allow for the possibility that there are things out there waiting for you that are even better than what you've envisioned for yourself. The beauty of trusting the timing of your life is that it gives you peace in the present, regardless of what is happening. You can move forward with faith, knowing that everything is happening for your highest good, even if you can't see the full picture yet. Trusting the timing of your life also means being kind to yourself. It means understanding that progress is not always linear and setbacks are not permanent. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take time to heal. It's okay to be in a season of waiting. All of these are necessary parts of the larger story of your life, and each moment has its purpose. By trusting that things are unfolding as they should, you give yourself permission to be in the moment without rushing to the next chapter. Remember, the timing of your life is uniquely yours. It's not about how quickly you achieve your goals, but about the growth, learning, and experiences you gather along the way. There is power in patience, in allowing life to flow as it will, and in trusting that you will receive everything you need when the time is right. When you let go of the need to hurry, you find that life has a way of working things out in the most unexpected, yet perfectly timed ways. So take a deep breath, relax into the process. Trust that everything you desire, everything you are working toward, will come to you in its own time, in its own way, and often in ways that far exceed what you had planned. Let go of the rush. Embrace the present and trust the beautiful timing of your life. In a world that constantly demands our attention, silence can often be seen as uncomfortable or even intimidating. Many of us are so accustomed to the noise, the hum of conversations, the buzz of notifications, the ceaseless rush of tasks that we equate silence with inactivity or weakness. But in truth, silence is one of the most powerful tools we possess. It is a profound source of strength, offering us the clarity, resilience, and inner power that the chaos around us often obscures. When we think of strength, we often imagine action, bold movements, loud voices, or decisive decisions. However, true strength doesn't always shout sometimes, it whispers. Sometimes it sits quietly in the background, gathering wisdom, assessing the situation, and waiting for the right moment to act. Silence allows us to harness that strength by creating a space where we can hear ourselves think, reflect on our experiences, and tap into our inner resources. It is in these quiet moments that we reconnect with who we truly are and what we truly want, away from the external noise and distractions. Silence is not the absence of activity, it is a different kind of action. In silence, we find the time to process, to breathe, and to grow. We give ourselves the opportunity to step back and assess our situations from a place of calm, rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. This allows us to make decisions that are grounded in wisdom rather than haste. It's in the stillness that we gain the perspective we need to act from a place of strength, rather than from a place of fear or uncertainty. When faced with challenges or difficult situations, many people feel the urge to respond immediately, to fix things, to speak up, or to defend themselves. However, silence can often be the most powerful response. By not reacting impulsively, we give ourselves time to think things through, to understand the bigger picture, and to find the most effective way forward. Silence can be a shield, a way to protect our peace and our energy while we gather the strength to face whatever is in front of us. In silence, we regain our composure, allowing us to act with intention rather than emotion. Silence is also a space for healing. When we are constantly engaged in the world around us, whether through conversations, media, or work, we rarely give ourselves the time to rest and restore. Silence is a refuge where we can retreat, reset, and recharge. It allows us to process our emotions, reflect on our experiences, and heal from the stresses of life. In this stillness, we can release the tension and noise that have built up inside of us and find peace. This inner calm becomes a wellspring of strength, helping us to face future challenges with greater resilience and clarity. Furthermore, silence nurtures a deeper connection with ourselves. In the noise of everyday life, it can be easy to lose sight of who we are and what we truly want. We are constantly bombarded with other people's opinions, ideas, and expectations, which can cloud our own judgment. But in the silence, we can reconnect with our inner voice, the one that knows our deepest desires, fears, and aspirations. This self-awareness is a powerful form of strength because it grounds us in our truth. It helps us navigate the world from a place of authenticity, making decisions that align with who we truly are, rather than who others want us to be. Silence also enhances our ability to listen. When we're constantly talking or reacting, we miss out on the valuable information that comes from truly paying attention to the world around us. In silence, we become better listeners, not only to others, but to ourselves. We start to notice the subtle cues, the unsaid emotions, and the deeper meanings behind words and actions. This kind of listening strengthens our relationships and deepens our understanding of the people and situations around us. It also fosters empathy and compassion, allowing us to respond with kindness and insight rather than with assumptions or judgments. Moreover, silence is a place of creativity. Many of the world's greatest ideas, inventions, and artistic expressions have been born out of quiet contemplation. When we allow ourselves moments of silence, we open up space for creativity to flow. Without the constant noise of external influences, our minds are free to wander, explore, and imagine new possibilities. This creative energy is a powerful form of strength, giving us the ability to innovate, solve problems, and find new ways of moving forward. In silence, we access a wellspring of potential that is often drowned out by the distractions of everyday life. In a world filled with endless possibilities, it's easy to feel like we need to grasp onto everything, every opportunity, every relationship, every task, fearing that if we let go, we might miss out on something important. We often believe that by doing more, acquiring more, and saying yes to everything, we will somehow attract what is meant for us. However, the truth is that sometimes in order to receive what is truly meant for us, we first have to create space for it. This means letting go of the things that no longer serve us, clearing out what is cluttering our lives physically, emotionally, and mentally, and making room for new possibilities to emerge. Creating space is an intentional act. It requires us to assess our current lives and ask ourselves, what am I holding on to that is no longer aligned with who I am or who I want to become? It could be a relationship that no longer supports our growth, a job that drains our energy, or even old habits and thought patterns that keep us stuck in a cycle of negativity. These things may have once served a purpose, but as we grow and evolve, we outgrow certain aspects of our lives. Holding onto them out of fear or habit only creates clutter, both in our external environment and within ourselves, preventing us from embracing what's truly meant for us. Think of your life as a garden. For anything new to bloom, you must first pull the weeds, clear out the dead plants, and create fertile ground. If you never tend to your garden, it becomes overgrown and choked by what no longer has life in it. Similarly, in our lives, if we hold on to what has run its course, whether it's old relationships, outdated beliefs, or overfilled schedules, we leave little room for the new to take root. By decluttering, both externally and internally, we allow space for the right people, opportunities, and experiences to come into our lives. Creating space also involves letting go of the need to control everything. So often we think that we can only receive what is meant for us if we are constantly striving and doing. But sometimes the most profound shifts happen when we step back, release our tight grip on life, and trust the process. When we are too focused on controlling outcomes, we may miss the subtle cues or unexpected opportunities that life is presenting to us. By allowing space for uncertainty and the unknown, we give life the freedom to unfold in ways we could never have imagined. This also applies to our mental and emotional space. Many of us carry around emotional baggage, resentments, fears, and limiting beliefs that weigh us down and prevent us from moving forward. By creating space in our minds and hearts, we make room for new perspectives, healing, and growth. This often requires letting go of past hurts and forgiving ourselves and others so we can move forward unburdened. It also involves quieting the mental noise that tells us we are not good enough, not deserving, or not capable of achieving what we desire. When we clear out these limiting beliefs, we open ourselves to the possibility that we are worthy of receiving what's truly meant for us. Creating space also means simplifying. In today's fast-paced world, we are often encouraged to do more, be more, and have more. But in our quest to fill every moment, we can become overwhelmed and disconnected from what truly matters. By simplifying our lives, whether it's decluttering our physical space, cutting back on unnecessary commitments, or being more intentional with how we spend our time, we create room for what's truly important. We make space for meaningful relationships, for creativity, for joy, and for the things that align with our purpose. Sometimes creating space requires us to say no. It's tempting to say yes to every opportunity that comes our way out of a fear of missing out or a desire to please others. But when we say yes to everything, we often spread ourselves too thin and end up feeling drained, overwhelmed, or unfulfilled. By learning to say no to what doesn't align with our values or our goals, we protect our energy and make space for the things that truly matter. Saying no is not a rejection of opportunity, it is an affirmation of your boundaries, your worth, and your priorities. Creating space also means being open to receive. So often we ask for things, love, success, fulfillment, but when they come to us, we aren't truly open to receiving them. We may feel unworthy, or we may be too focused on what we don't have to fully appreciate what's in front of us. By creating space within ourselves to receive, we acknowledge that we are deserving of the good things that come our way. This requires shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Instead of fearing that there is not enough, we trust that life has an abundance of gifts for us, and we are ready to receive them when the time is right. When we create space for what's meant for us, we also embrace the flow of life. This means understanding that we cannot control the timing of everything, and sometimes what we desire may take longer to manifest than we anticipated. But by creating space, we signal to the universe that we are ready and open to receive. We show that we trust the process and are willing to allow things to come to us in their own time. Creating space requires both courage and trust. It's not always easy to let go of what is familiar, even if it's no longer serving us. But by releasing what no longer aligns with our path, we free ourselves to grow and evolve. We make room for the things, people, and opportunities that are in alignment with our higher purpose and our true selves. Creating space for what's meant for you also means being mindful of the energy you surround yourself with. The people, environments, and influences in your life play a significant role in shaping your experience. When your surroundings are filled with negativity or chaos, it becomes difficult to focus on what truly matters or to attract what is meant for you. By being intentional about the energy you invite into your life, whether it's choosing supportive relationships, creating a peaceful home environment, or engaging in activities that nourish your soul, you create a space that fosters growth and alignment. In a world that is perpetually noisy and chaotic, it is easy to lose touch with ourselves. We are bombarded with external influences, social media, the opinions of others, the constant influx of news and information, all of which can cloud our sense of who we truly are. In the midst of all this noise, silence serves as a sanctuary, a place where we can step back and reflect, reconnecting with our inner selves. Silence is the doorway to self-awareness, providing the space needed to listen to the whispers of our thoughts, feelings, and desires. It allows us to go beyond the surface level of our daily lives and tap into the deeper currents of our own consciousness. When we allow ourselves moments of silence, we disengage from the constant need to respond to external stimuli. This disengagement creates a pause, a moment of reflection where we can tune into what's happening within. In these moments, we begin to notice the subtleties of our inner world, the thoughts we're habitually thinking, the emotions we're quietly suppressing, and the desires we may have neglected in the rush of everyday life. In silence, we become more aware of our internal dialogue, noticing patterns that we may not have been conscious of before. These are the patterns that shape our beliefs, our actions, and ultimately our reality. Silence gives us the space to observe ourselves without judgment. Often we are so caught up in reacting to life that we don't take the time to question why we think the way we do or why we feel certain emotions. When we engage in silence, we allow ourselves to sit with those thoughts and emotions, to observe them from a place of detachment. This practice of observation is crucial for self-awareness because it helps us understand the motivations behind our actions and the root causes of our feelings. Rather than being swept away by the current of our emotions or thoughts, silence allows us to step back, observe, and gain clarity on what's really going on inside. The more we engage in silence, the more we develop a deeper understanding of ourselves. Silence helps us tune into our intuition, that quiet inner voice that often gets drowned out by the noise of everyday life. Our intuition is a powerful source of guidance, but it requires a calm and quiet mind to be heard. In silence, we begin to trust that inner voice more, allowing it to guide our decisions and actions in a way that feels authentic and aligned with our true selves. This heightened sense of self-awareness empowers us to make choices that reflect our values, rather than being swayed by external pressures or expectations. Silence also allows us to recognize our emotional triggers. Many of us move through life reacting to situations without fully understanding why certain things affect us the way they do. Silence gives us the opportunity to pause and reflect on these triggers, helping us uncover the underlying beliefs or past experiences that may be influencing our reactions. For example, if we find ourselves feeling defensive or anxious in certain situations, silence can help us trace those feelings back to their origin. Are they rooted in fear, in insecurity, in a past experience that left a mark on us? By becoming aware of these triggers, we can begin to approach similar situations with more mindfulness and emotional intelligence, rather than reacting from a place of unawareness. Moreover, silence creates the space for us to evaluate the alignment between our actions and our core values. In the busyness of life, we often operate on autopilot, making decisions based on habit or societal expectations. However, when we take time to be silent and reflect, we can ask ourselves important questions. Am I living in alignment with my values? Are the choices I'm making every day bringing me closer to the person I want to become? Or am I simply reacting to life's demands? This kind of introspection is essential for self-awareness, as it helps us live more intentionally rather than drifting aimlessly through life. Silence also deepens our understanding of our desires and aspirations. Many of us carry unfulfilled dreams or long-held desires, but the noise of the world often drowns out their quiet whispers. In silence, we create the space to listen to those whispers, to reconnect with the things that truly matter to us. Whether it's a creative passion, a career goal, or a personal dream, silence helps us tune into what our heart is yearning for. This heightened awareness of our desires allows us to make more conscious choices about how we spend our time and energy, ensuring that we are moving toward the life we truly want. Furthermore, silence reveals the areas of our lives where we may be holding onto limiting beliefs. These beliefs often operate in the background of our consciousness, shaping our thoughts and actions without us even realizing it. In moments of silence, we can begin to notice the narratives we've been telling ourselves. I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, I'm too old. To start over, once we become aware of these limiting beliefs, we have the power to challenge them and replace them with more empowering thoughts. This process of uncovering and reframing our beliefs is crucial for self-awareness, as it allows us to break free from the mental patterns that have been holding us back. Silence also enhances our emotional awareness. In the noise of daily life, it's easy to ignore or suppress our emotions, especially the uncomfortable ones. We may distract ourselves with work, entertainment, or other external activities to avoid feeling sadness, anger, or fear. However, silence brings those emotions to the surface, giving us the opportunity to fully experience and process them. This emotional awareness is key to self-growth because it helps us understand what we need in order to heal, grow, and move forward. By embracing silence, we allow ourselves the time and space to process our emotions in a healthy and productive way, rather than bottling them up or ignoring them. One of the most difficult challenges we face in life is the need to control outcomes. We often find ourselves gripping tightly to the plans we've created, the expectations we've set, and the visions we've formed for our lives. This need for control is a reflection of our desire for certainty. We want to know that everything will go according to plan, that our hard work will pay off, and that we can avoid failure or disappointment. However, life doesn't always unfold in a linear or predictable way. In fact, the more we try to control every aspect of it, the more we create resistance, and that resistance often leads to frustration, stress, and anxiety. Letting go of control doesn't mean abandoning your goals or becoming passive in the face of challenges. It means releasing the rigid need for everything to happen exactly as you envisioned and trusting the natural flow of life. When we let go of control, we open ourselves up to the possibility that life may have something better in store for us than what we originally imagined. Often, our desire to control stems from fear of the unknown, fear of failure, or fear of losing what we already have. But when we operate from a place of fear, we limit our capacity to grow and experience the fullness of what life has to offer. By loosening our grip on control, we allow life to unfold in ways that we may not have anticipated, but that may ultimately lead us to greater opportunities, deeper connections, and unexpected blessings. This requires a shift in mindset, moving from a place of fear and scarcity to one of trust and abundance, trusting that even if things don't go according to your plan, they can still work out in a way that is even more aligned with your highest good. Letting go of control is also about releasing the need to micromanage every detail of your journey. It's about recognizing that while you have the power to influence your life through your actions, intentions, and decisions, you don't have to dictate every single outcome. Sometimes the best way forward is not through force or effort, but through surrender. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up or resigning yourself to a life of inaction. It means releasing the need to control every variable and allowing the natural ebb and flow of life to guide you. In doing so, you create space for things to happen organically without the added pressure of having to make everything happen on your own terms. Embracing flow is about attuning yourself to the rhythm of life, trusting that there is a timing and pace for everything. Just as a river flows effortlessly downstream, without forcing its path or trying to resist obstacles in its way, so too can we navigate life with more ease when we stop trying to force things to happen. Flow is about being adaptable, open to change, and willing to shift course when necessary. When we embrace flow, we become more resilient in the face of challenges because we understand that setbacks and detours are part of the process. Rather than seeing them as failures, we view them as opportunities to grow, learn, and recalibrate. By flowing with life, we become more in tune with our intuition, more connected to our inner guidance, and more open to the signs and opportunities that present themselves along the way. Letting go of control also allows us to be more present in the moment. So often, our need for control keeps us stuck in the future, worrying about what will happen next, or in the past, ruminating on things that didn't go as planned. This mental tug of war between the past and the future pulls us away from the present moment, where life is actually happening. When we release control, we free ourselves from the mental burden of trying to anticipate and manipulate every outcome, allowing us to be fully engaged in the here and now. In this state of presence, we can better appreciate the beauty, opportunities, and experiences that are available to us in the present moment, experiences that we might miss if we're too busy trying to control what's next. Furthermore, letting go of control invites us to trust in the process of life. There are times when things seem to be moving slower than we'd like, or when we encounter obstacles that make us question whether we're on the right path. In these moments, our instinct may be to push harder, to try to force things to happen faster, or to manipulate circumstances in our favor. However, life operates on its own timetable, and sometimes the delays or obstacles we face are actually serving a greater purpose. They may be giving us time to grow, preparing us for something bigger, or redirecting us toward a path that is more aligned with our true purpose. By trusting in the process and letting go of the need to control every step, we allow life to unfold in its natural rhythm, which often leads to outcomes that are more fulfilling than anything we could have orchestrated ourselves. Another aspect of letting go of control is learning to trust ourselves and our ability to navigate uncertainty. When we're fixated on controlling everything, it often stems from a lack of trust in our own resilience and adaptability. We may fear that if things don't go according to plan, we won't be able to handle it. However, letting go of control requires us to tap into our inner strength and trust that no matter what happens, we have the capacity to adjust, learn, and grow from any situation. It's about having confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way, knowing that you are resourceful, capable, and adaptable. When you trust yourself in this way, you no longer feel the need to cling to control because you understand that you can thrive even in the face of uncertainty. Letting go of control also means relinquishing the need for perfection. Many of us hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, expecting that everything we do must be flawless or go off without a hitch. This perfectionism creates an immense amount of pressure and can lead to burnout, frustration, and feelings of inadequacy when things inevitably don't go as planned. By letting go of the need for everything to be perfect, we allow ourselves to be more flexible, more forgiving, and more compassionate toward ourselves. We recognize that life is messy, unpredictable, and imperfect, and that's okay. In fact, it's often in the imperfections and the unexpected twists and turns that we find the greatest growth, wisdom, and beauty. Silence is often misunderstood as a passive or weak response to life's challenges. However, silence can be one of the most powerful forms of resilience a person can possess. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to face difficulties head-on and emerge stronger. While many view resilience as an outward show of strength or the ability to keep pushing forward, silence adds a deeper, more introspective dimension to this trait. Silence allows us to tap into our inner strength, process our emotions, and gather the mental and emotional energy needed to persevere through hardship. In moments of chaos, when everything around us seems to be spiraling out of control, silence becomes our sanctuary. It provides a refuge where we can step back from the noise, both external and internal, and reconnect with ourselves. In this space of quiet, we can reflect on what is truly happening, assess our situation without being clouded by distractions, and begin to formulate a plan for moving forward. Silence allows us to pause, even in the midst of turmoil, so that we can regain our composure and face whatever is in front of us with clarity and calmness. In this way, silence becomes a vital tool in building resilience, as it gives us the opportunity to find strength within before engaging with the world again. Silence also fosters emotional resilience. When we experience setbacks, loss, or pain, our instinct might be to immediately seek comfort or distraction. But if we constantly look for ways to escape discomfort, we miss the opportunity to truly process and heal from our experiences. Silence invites us to sit with our emotions, to feel them fully, and to understand them without judgment. It is in these moments of stillness that we begin to build emotional endurance. By allowing ourselves to be present with our pain or disappointment in silence, we learn that we are capable of withstanding discomfort without being overwhelmed by it. This practice strengthens our emotional resilience, making us better equipped to handle future challenges. Moreover, silence is a powerful form of resilience because it teaches us patience. In a world that demands instant results and quick fixes, silence reminds us that not everything can or should be resolved immediately. Some challenges require time to understand, time to adjust, and time to heal. Silence helps us cultivate the patience to wait for solutions to unfold naturally, rather than forcing or rushing through a situation. This patient resilience allows us to approach life's obstacles with a sense of calm assurance, knowing that we have the ability to endure through difficult times without losing hope or becoming impatient with the process. It's through silence that we learn the art of waiting, trusting that the right answers will come in due time. Silence also nurtures mental resilience by allowing us to clear our minds and regain focus. When faced with adversity, it's easy for our thoughts to become scattered, overwhelmed by anxiety, fear, or confusion. In these moments, silence helps us to reset. It offers a break from the mental chatter, giving our minds the space to settle and recalibrate. Through this practice of quiet reflection, we develop the mental fortitude to remain focused and clear-headed, even when circumstances are challenging. Silence teaches us how to ground ourselves in the present moment, which in turn strengthens our ability to cope with stress and make sound decisions under pressure. Another way that silence contributes to resilience is by fostering inner wisdom. Resilience isn't just about brute strength or the ability to withstand hardships. It's also about knowing when to act and when to hold back, when to speak up and when to remain quiet. Silence gives us the opportunity to listen to our inner voice, to access the deeper wisdom that resides within us. This wisdom often emerges when we are quiet, when we give ourselves the space to tune out the external noise and distractions. By cultivating this inner wisdom through silence, we become more attuned to our own needs, desires, and boundaries. This self-awareness enhances our resilience because it allows us to make choices that are aligned with our true selves, rather than reacting impulsively or out of fear. In conclusion, the power of silence is profound and transformative. It is through silence that we tap into our inner strength, develop deep self-awareness, and cultivate resilience in the face of life's challenges. Silence teaches us to trust the timing of our lives, allowing us to let go of the need for control and embrace the natural flow of events. It creates space for what is truly meant for us, enabling us to remain open to possibilities that we may have otherwise overlooked. In silence, we enhance our emotional, mental, and spiritual resilience, finding the patience, clarity, and wisdom needed to navigate both the highs and lows of life. Ultimately, silence is not a retreat from life. It is a powerful tool that allows us to engage with it more intentionally, more calmly, and more authentically. When we honor silence, we give ourselves the gift of peace, presence, and the ability to let everything come to us naturally, without force or fear.